Now we're turning to employment. Placement season is on in full swing. India's premier engineering institutes, the Indian Institutes of Technology, the IITs, seem to be really bucking the global trends because right now when you talk globally, we're talking about retrenchment, we're talking about layoffs. But already, just 7 of these IITs have raked in more than 133 offers of 1 crore rupees or even higher. Those pay packages are really hitting the roof. So how are these IITs raking in the big bucks? The graduates from IITs are doing very well for themselves. We are trying to understand exactly how this is happening. My colleague here at ET Now, Rajat Banerjee, has filed a report.
Amid looming threat of global recessions and massive tech layoffs, students from IITs are clocking massive pay packages. A student from famed IIT Kharagpur signed up a 2.68 crore pay package. IIT Kanpur had 918 students with job offers by the end of day 5 of placements. IIT Delhi has seen a 20% increase in the number of offers. It also raked in over 50 offers of rupees 1 crore. IIT Guwahati reported a 21% rise in pre-placement offers. In fact, the 7 so-called old IITs, Delhi, Kanpur, Madras, Kharagpur, Guwahati, Varanasi and Roorkee received over 133 offers with pay packages of 1 crore. The class of 2023 certainly seems to be bucking the global trends.
Definitely there's a significant increase in terms of number of packages which we have received. What we have seen traditionally is like the number of firms which are showing interest in terms of recruiting, those have significantly increased.
Although the IITs are yet to beat last year's record when the institute reported an all-time high number of final placements. Hong Kong and Singapore seem to be the hottest destination of IIT placements. Jane Street, a quantitative trading firm, offered 3 candidates a package of over 3.5 crores. But what's the story behind these numbers? IIT Guwahati's head of the Center for Career Development, Dr. Abhishek Kumar, tells ET Now.
Now we are coming out of the COVID situation, so definitely the demands which were on hold for last couple of years, definitely those have now opened up, and as a result of which companies are hiring.
So, what's really driving IIT placements? Well, it could be the mark of quality stamped on every student they teach. It could be the higher quality of education these monuments of Indian engineering education provide. Or it could be that companies are willing to pay for top talent, and this top talent in turn could turn the tides in the long run. With Rajat Banerjee, ET Now Bureau.
All right, so this is putting in context what we are about to discuss with our guest tonight. Rituparna Chakraborty is co-founder, CEO and ED at TeamLease. Joining her is Nikhil Anand, head of Global Delivery NLB Services. And Aditya Narayan Mishra is also joining us, and he is director and CEO at Ciel HR Services. Coming to you first, Aditya Mishra, and thank you all for joining us tonight on the show. But Aditya, at a time that we cite these instances of layoffs and retrenchment, and this across companies, big and small, especially in big tech firms, here we have a scenario where these IIT graduates are getting lapped up at great CTCs. What do you put it down to? Well, there is really no doubt that IITians have been outliers. They have been in the past, and they certainly are now, but surely it must present a good cross-section of what we have as a job market right now. How are they outliers in this current scenario?
I think campus interviews, campus recruitment as a strategy is a long-term strategy that organizations adopt. Right. So while there are organizations who are laying off, they are continuing to do their campus hiring. So that's one part we have to keep in mind because both are 2 different strategies. And secondly, IITians, we all know that they are globally reputed for the skills that they bring to the table and the exposure that they receive. The important thing which has happened this year compared to last year, in my mind, is the change in participation of the domestic employers versus the foreign employers. I think many American and European employers this year in the IIT campuses there is a decline in that number, while there is quite a lot of jubilation amongst the people, amongst the companies which are in India. They have today the funds, the ambition for the digital economy that we are seeing. So this trading and quants kind of work, that's quite a lot happening in India right now. So all of this, I see these three as major reasons why we see a lot of positive news coming out of the IITs.
Do you agree with this, Nikhil Anand? Because, the problem of rising unemployment, it's been plaguing India. Global recessionary trends are only dampening the spirit of aspiring talent that's emerging from our educational institutions, everywhere, actually. The CMI data for the last 2 months I've been looking at, that suggests that salaried jobs are now finally back to their pre-pandemic levels. And this is after a long gap, a gap of as much as 32 months. What's your own current assessment of the job market in India versus what we see in the rest of the hiring hubs where talent is being sought after, the US, the UK, Canada, Australia? How are we comparing?
See, India today has become the talent hub for, especially for the technology side of the world. With more and more GCCs opening up in India, that is the go-to place for a lot of these international firms. And especially with the number of startups that have come up, there are about 12,000 plus startups that that open up in India. So definitely, from a job market perspective, you should see a spike in the job openings, and especially in the technology space for the India landscape.
Where we are seeing some kind of plateauing or perhaps even retrenchment stories as far as the tech universe is concerned, and tech startups have been hit hard in recent times, haven't they?
Yes, they have been, but with the GCCs coming back in India, so this is it's a combination of all of these factors come together. It's not one over the other, and that's what is driving the the increase in these tech hirings happening in India. So while GCCs are also coming to India in a large way, and there are currently about 1,500 of those that exist in India, and they're slated to go up to 2,500. And on the parallel side, with IITs, going out there and offering the tech talent that's actually defining the landscape for how the tech talent looks in India. There is more and more investments that are going on the startup side. So it will continue. In the years to come, I do, and in fact next year as well, I do foresee the tech hirings to go high.
All right, so maybe it's a blip right now, and perhaps that's going to pick up. Rituparna Chakraborty, perhaps you want to tackle this, because again, there is this report by Naukri JobSpeak Index. It showcases a recovery in hiring activity in India last month itself. It says the job market in India has bounced back to pre-festive levels, and now it is being recorded at a double-digit growth at over 27% month-on-month and over 43% year-on-year growth. So these are good numbers. Which are the sectors that you've seen more traction in recent times? The report says the insurance sector is leading the job stakes, but in your understanding, where is it actually at, the action?
Thanks so much. Yes, I think campus hiring always is an indicator. When campus hirings bounce back and with such resounding and prominent numbers and data points, it essentially means that organization is betting for the long term, and that's a good sign. So which means the outlook is positive. I think the sectors which essentially at the moment currently looking good, healthcare and pharma, definitely. I think they're in a upswing. We are also seeing that there are offshoots of improvement happening in the overarching in the BFSI segment. We are seeing that even the FMCG and consumer durable, the manufacturing sector, essentially encouraged by the PLI announcements. We are seeing engineering, auto pickup, and to talk about what happened in the IITs, interestingly, it's not just the tech companies. We are seeing that Some of the big consulting companies are back with big offers. We are seeing automobile majors back there. Some international engineering companies are back into the campus. So again, I think India has stayed resilient in spite of the headwinds which we are seeing all over, and there is a positive sentiment. There is a little bit of caution, but I think it augurs well. Side by side, and that's why I feel that whatever demand that one is going to see when it comes to hiring will be measured, would not be knee-jerk reaction, would not be something that whimsical in nature. And it's something which is going to be here for good. So typically Q4 is a quarter where organizations do slow down on account of the fact that that's the time that most of the planning happens. But I'm particularly positive of Q1 onwards of the next financial year. And some of these offers, which essentially means these kids will be joining these organizations maybe in the middle of first quarter, early second quarter, essentially is also an indication of that. So I think the typical sectors obviously are continuing to do well, e-commerce and the works and the food tech and all of that. But I think the stable and the sturdy sectors beyond IT are doing good, and it's looking good. And even for technology, I think what has happened, some of the layoffs, shake-offs, focus on profitability,
Yes.
probably much needed, but
Yes.
it's a matter of time that even that sector.
So it is good growth, it is solid growth, and the pace is going to pick up in times to come, which is a lot to say in a certain time when we're talking about recessionary trends elsewhere in the world and retrenchments and layoffs. The kids coming out of the IITs certainly are setting the pace, as it were, and we hope it solidifies as we go along, as we step into the new calendar year. Thank you very much, all three of you, for joining us with your perspectives on this discussion.